Right, guys, we're back with episode number 16 on the Edge podcast. We've got Leah with us today, who is the founder of All Things Jet Set. She's a bit of a serial entrepreneur, loads of stuff going on. So we're going to explore her story today. Thank you for coming on, Leah.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So let's get into your background to start with.
Background. Yep. I am a chartered surveyor by trade.
Yep.
I left school, no idea what I wanted to do, and ended up falling into property. Went to university, got a degree, did quite well on the corporate ladder by all accounts, and I despised it, absolutely hated it. I was doing businesses on the side. I had a fashion brand before I do what I do now, because I just wanted to get out of it, and it did not sit right asking for holidays off. And 25 days a year to do what I wanted was just nothing, my bugbear. That was what I started off doing.
So how long did you stay in corporate for?
God, I'm going to show my age now, but like 10 years.
So you had a good stint at it?
I had a good stint and I did well by, the norm.
Traditional measures, yeah. But had to leave. So what, like you sort of, we'll touch on to what Jet Set is now, because some people may know, I didn't know before, but it's a ridiculously good model. So let's share it.
Yeah, so 2 different software systems are encompassed into the Jet Set brand, and I'll talk about the first one first. What we have access to is a software model that enables you to book travel. Anything that you're booking online at the minute, whether it's cruises, package holidays, hotel onlys, flight onlys, has got commission built into it somewhere. You will be paying that to Skyscanner, Booking.com, Expedia at the minute. With my software, what you can do is actually put that commission into your own back pocket. So even if you're just using it for your own personal travel, if you want to use it, as a side income, if you want to do it full time like me, there's a ton of money built into it. Anything from 8 to 20% commission
is what you're getting back.
Yeah.
And didn't you say that you can get like ridiculously good deals as well sometimes?
Yeah, so what you're essentially getting access to is the ability to become a travel agent. As a travel agent, you receive what are called industry rates sometimes from hotels. I have travelled free quite frequently actually now that I do it full time. But when I was starting out, hotels want you to go and stay and recommend them to the people that you're booking for. So there's a lot of benefits of just doing it for your own personal travel, but there's a full blown business in there if you wanted to turn it into that.
Yeah, and what's the monthly cost on that?
So we have less than the cost of many of my nights out set up for cost, £156 to get access to everything that you need to be able to book and earn commission back. Monthly subscription of £46 a month. Got it. Less than £1.50
and then
a day.
You're pretty much like guaranteed to be saving that as well with the commissions you're going to get back as well.
If you're
doing
booking
8 to 20% on a family holiday.
Exactly. There's so much money built into it. It's one of the biggest industries in the world, and if you're anything like me that wants to travel more or travels frequently anyway, it's a no-brainer. Like, why would you not want to earn that money back?
It's free money at that
point,
exactly, because you were just handing it to someone else, weren't you?
Booking.
So how come that no one else because for me when we first spoke, my mind was blown. So I was like, why does no one know about this? How did I not know about this?
It's travel's best kept secret, which is something that we're trying to change at the minute, and coming in and speaking to people like you and getting it out there into the market and on people's radars is really what we're trying to do now, because I think the way people work has changed and is changing more frequently, and online and earning money online now is the new norm for people. Why not do it in an industry that you love?
Yeah. And so with the you've got the other side of it as well, haven't you?
Yes.
So where does that touch? What does that do?
So with the software that I've just talked about, what I also do with that is run a luxury travel company. And we book for high net worth, ultra high net worth, just anything luxury really. So I run a full scale travel business as well, but I also share the model with others and coach them how to, number one, either earn money back on what they're doing already, or number two, bring in a side income, or 3, just go full time like I've done. So there's 2 separate elements to it.
How long did it take to go full time with it?
I went full time in a year in lockdown, believe it or not.
Yeah. See, so that's quite interesting because travel was completely shut down.
Travel stopped, and at the beginning, I remember the dates and everything, because we was like, oh my God, we've got a travel company and nobody can go out of the house. Like, it was terrible. But we realised quickly travel is not going anywhere. It's never going anywhere. And the stints that they locked us in for, and I remember the date that Boris Johnson said people could go on staycations, and it was April 14th. And on that day, every house or, you know, place, holiday home in the UK that was available for rent got booked. And our turnover just went through the roof. And we realised quite quickly there was going to be peaks and troughs, but the peaks were, you know, much outweighing the troughs.
Nice. So when, like, with everything that you've done so far, which side of the business model are you preferring? Do you prefer, like, actually the coaching side, or do you like booking the ultra high net worth glamorous holiday packages?
Both of it. Like, I genuinely don't have a favourite. I like helping other people to see that there's another way to work and actually doing something that they care about.
That's the thing where, like, for me, like, and what we do with Aftermarket all the time is we're trying to show, like, you don't have to be in the conventional 9 to 5. There's so many other ways to make money. Like, this is a new one to me that I didn't know about, and it's still, like, ridiculous with what you can earn. And I think that's something that with this, like, whole podcast is what we need to show people, that you can, for example, you've done your corporate life, but you've gone and still fulfilled your dreams, and now you're living the lifestyle you want.
Exactly that. And I think that resonates with me so much, because you don't know about these things at school. They don't want you to know about these things at school. And you go into the corporate, you know, 9 to 5, and I'm not bashing 9 to 5s, but for some people it just don't work. And I was some people.
Yeah, and that was exactly like me. Like I said, like I've said it a few times on the pod where I wish sometimes, like, I could be happy with a 9 to 5. It would probably make my life, like, easier at times. But, like, as soon as I was in that point of, like, working the same every day, like, it was just, like, mind numbing, and, like, couldn't do it. And so I think that people, like, who can do it, then fair play. Like, if that's all you want and you're happy with that, then that, like, fair play to you. But I think for people like us, like, it's just not feasible.
No. And there's so many models as well now. Like, I mean, I find what you guys do, like, massively interesting, but speaking to people like you that have kind of done the same thing makes you feel not alone. Literally. And there's even more, like, than, like, what we know about. There's people doing, like, Marcus, for anyone knowing who's already on the podcast, like, he does OnlyFans management now. Like, there's so many business things, models popping up that, like, no one can keep track, and it just, like, you don't need to be stuck doing a job you don't want anymore. There's 100 options that you can choose from. I think the internet's changed everything. You can literally teach yourself anything online.
I think COVID fast-tracked that as well.
COVID as well,
COVID fast-tracked everything. It like, for us, like, COVID was sort of the perfect storm, because supply chains broke down. People had more time. People were on the phone. People, like, need to keep busy. They were getting grants from, like, the government, or, like, what's it called? Furlough. So, like, people getting money, didn't have to spend it. And then, like, so for us, it was just a perfect storm. And we blew up, and, like, but I think it had the same for other businesses as well. But then it was sort of like everyone at that point started to look at the internet as more of a viable way to make money, because you couldn't really do anything else, especially being furloughed. And people started to explore this, and it sort of, I think it changed the mindset of everyone. Yeah,
it did. And I think, me included, I said, there's no way I'm going back to that office. And I think a lot of people had the same exact thought process and started to look at other things online.
I know so many people now that still haven't gone back to the office. They'll still work for the large corporate firm, but they might go into the office one day a month. That, I think that day and age is gone now, wasn't it?
I realised quite quickly I could do my job that I spent 10 hours a day at in about 2 if I was at home. So I had all
just
of this.
Just being productive, like, and just, like, being straight to it. That's it. And that's, like, even, like, that's, like, on that topic, like, with Twitter and Elon Musk, like, I've seen, like a load of tweets recently where, like, there was, like, a day in the life of a Twitter employee, and it's just like, she's like, oh, I'm going to go meditate and do this, and it's just like, it wasn't even a business, it was just, like, a lifestyle, like, eating good food, like, and just, like, not getting any work done. And that's it. Well, like, if you do sit down, you can do it in a couple of hours and do what else you want to do.
It's mad. The ways changed.
Right, so something that I want to touch on, the ultra high net worth side. So I know you'll have to keep people anonymous, but I think this will be, like, super interesting.
I wish I could tell you who it was. Really, I wish I could.
I wish, like, but like, I think a lot of people are going to be super, super interested in this. Like, a sort of insight into how people are traveling that are ultra high net worth, like, any sort of crazy requests, anything, like, when you've been putting their holidays together, what have you experienced? What have you seen?
God, I'm going to try and say it without slipping up it.
If you slip up, we can edit it out.
Okay, good. So we were dealing with 2 USA clients that were in a relationship at the time. that aren't anymore. Very high profile as well. And we were organising a trip somewhere, and I'm going to keep that a bit private. And the things that they asked us for were just absolutely outrageous. We flew in a brand of spice to rim a margarita glass and a tray that they wanted their breakfast to flip. I'm not even joking. They sent me a list. They said, have you got any special requests? And we ask everybody this, and usually somebody will say, we drink a specific wine, and we're like, okay, we get that. They wanted a specific brand spice to rim a glass for their margarita, and we had to fly it in from another country on a plane on its own with a breakfast tray. So we flew a spice. I was like, what is this? I've never heard of this spice. It's an American thing. And I Googled it, and I was like, surely they're not asking for that. And I had to go back to confirm, like, are you definitely asking me to fly in this bottle of spices? Yeah. They're like, yeah, that's exactly what we need. And the worst bit of this story is we spent weeks and months planning the trip, and the day before, they said, we've just realised you need to be vaccinated to go there, and we're not, so we can't go. And we had to switch within 24 hours the hotel to another hotel.
What was it? Just a hotel you had to vaccinate?
Where they were going to. It was a minor outlying island somewhere. There was another island nearby that had
less restrictions.
Oh my God. So we had to do that within 24 hours. That was like. Yeah, I was losing my marbles at that point.
I find that absolutely fascinating.
Imagine having that much money. Can you fly me this spice?
So do they not care about the expense? Like, is there no question around?
No, literally none.
So do you come back to them with, like, say, yes, we can do it, but it's going to be this price in total?
Yeah.
And then it's just they sign it off, and then it's good to go.
We say, it's going to cost X amount. Are you sure you want to fly these spices in? And they're like, yeah, we need that.
So when you're doing that, like these are little additional extras for them. Is that like, are you adding on top of that?
So the way we work is if we book a hotel or a package or a holiday that way, there's commission built into that. Yeah. But then anything over and above that, if we're using a private jet, for example, again, there's commission built into that. So every element of what you book at the minute, whether it's transfer, I'm not saying you're going to start flying spices around, but there's commission somewhere. And that's something that comes into our company for doing it. So
Got it. That's absolutely crazy. That's bonkers.
Yeah, wild.
Have you got any others?
We had a funny one the other day who was a Middle Eastern chap who asked if we could hook him up with some nice ladies while he's in London. And I said, that falls completely out of our remit, unfortunately. But yeah, we can book the travel, but we stayed clear. We stayed clear of that. But they're the two weirdest ones. But we've had anything from like security to like armoured cars people have asked for. And I'm like, who is driving around shooting at people while they're on holiday? But so it's levels of wealth where they just want that protection.
How have you managed to integrate into that sort of network and sort of become relevant amongst those people?
Branding. So when we're the Jet Set Lifestyle group, but when I started, it was just me. I was the group.
So is the Jet Set Lifestyle yours?
Yes, okay. My company. That's our travel brand. Yep. And now there's staff that work there and operate under that banner as well. But at the beginning, it was just me. I was the marketing director, the accountant, the solicitor, everything. And we were the group. Hats on. But it was just me. There was no group. But we positioned ourselves as luxury, high end, and the brand perception attracted the clientele that we wanted. And we used to turn stuff away at the beginning. People, can you book us this trip to Butlins? And we was like, no, it's not. It doesn't align with the brand. But we weren't making any money, but we had a vision for it. And networking as well, just networking on social media, in person, wherever I am. Just one conversation with the right person changes everything, and people don't get that. And there's a saying, it's so overly used, but it's not what you know, it's who you know. Exactly. It is that. Yeah. It's one conversation, and putting yourself in the right room with the right person leads to 1,000 other things opening. Yeah. And that's how it's happened for us.
That's happened with me massively since coming to Manchester. Yeah. And just being in a central place where there's a lot of, let's say, relevant people that can connect you to other things and bring you opportunities. Exactly. It's just you keep showing your face at events and stuff like that, and then you get recognised, you get talking to people, and doors get open. We've had some doors open recently that if they come off, I would never have dreamed of. And it's just 6 months ago I would have never forecasted it or like seen it in my future, but now like you've got people coming to us, bringing us projects saying we want to do this, and it's all just through having a conversation.
And it becomes normal though, doesn't it? It's like you said, things you couldn't have dreamed of. Like, I never thought we'd book for some of the people that we booked for, but they seek us out now, and it's like, it has just been through conversations. Somebody asked me the other day, like, where have you got all these clients from? And I said, make sure that you're not the smartest person in the room. Like, get out of it. Have a conversation with somebody bigger and better that knows more things. And that's the way we've networked.
So with that, the first client you mentioned, ridiculous client. How did they find out about you?
That was Instagram, funnily enough.
Nice.
Networking on Instagram. And we work with people from all over the world now. We've got clients in the USA, Canada. We work with a lot of other business coaches doing retreats and planning events and stuff for them. And that's just been, again, one conversation on Instagram. Somebody's posted about the job that we've done. All of the other business coaches have said, oh my God, we're doing that. Can you help?
I suppose that's a pretty niche area to target that, isn't it? But like it's something that like, I'd never think of that, but it actually makes perfect sense because a lot of people are doing. I've seen someone that I know like has just been on a yoga one. Like out somewhere,
so
like,
many.
Like, if you could just control that corner of the market, like it's going to be a good little.
We did kind of niche ourselves by accident, just off the back of helping one business coach.
It's crazy.
So now we've got a little branch that specialises in retreats and events.
So where do you want to take it? Have you got any plans? Like, for you, is it which side of the bit, like, or it might be both? But are you looking to grow the clientele side where you're booking the holidays and sort of earn your money that way, or is it growing the coaching and mentoring side of stuff?
Definitely a bit of both, but the way the travel model works now is I've got a team that manage the bookings, so I can focus more on helping other people, which is, don't get me wrong, I love booking, luxury travel for people, and I love traveling, but I actually have started to enjoy more helping other people, realise that there's a bit of a different way, like we said before, and that they can work online and that they can travel and they don't need to settle for 25 days a year where they can do what they want to do. So that's where I'm focusing at the minute now, because I think the more people we, even with what you do, that we can help to realise that, the more people aren't, feeling the way that we felt when we was in those jobs.
Exactly. What I'm interested to know, what's the sort of like the biggest like crux that you might get with like a customer at the moment?
It's
like
too good to be true. It's too good to be true. We were talking about it before, but we're conditioned into not looking for opportunities, but looking for threats, really. And people think that because it's not the norm, and it is working online, and it's so, people say it's too risky. What's the risk? To me, risk was staying in my 9 to 5.
Yes, and that's it. I've read like what it's like the riskiest thing you can do like is stay in your 9 to 5 forever, like, and it's like, if you're at a point in your life where like you're young and you've sort of not got that many responsibilities, you've not really got an excuse to not give it a go.
Exactly that.
We just need to open people's eyes to that. And another one, I think I seen a quote the other day, something like, what's the retirement age now? Is it 65?
65,
something like that?
yeah.
Something like the average, so retirement age is 65. But the average life expectancy is like 73. So then like you're saying like you've got 8 years after retiring to do what you want to do.
And
like,
you can't walk at that point.
You can't, exactly. Like, and it's just like you can create the lifestyle that you want right now. You don't have to wait till you're retired. You don't have to go through that, like through the rat race. You can do it yourself and like live what you want. And you're like the perfect example of that now.
But it is, again, I think it goes back to school. I was reading, again, another quote similar to what you've read, but people will work 40 years for somebody else, but they can't invest, 5-10 hours a week to work for themselves and to control their income. Your job controls your salary, but you control your income and where it comes from. And some people just won't.
And that's it. Like your salary is always going to be capped in some way. Whereas if you're a business owner, the profit is like that business can go as high as you want it to go. There's no limit. Like I'm not saying you're going to be the next Jeff Bezos, but like essentially, if you own the business, it can go as far as you want to take it. If you're on a salary, you're always going to be restricted.
Yeah, I read something the other day, and it said a job you're limited on how much time freedom you've got. Location freedom you don't have any of because you're probably chained to a desk, and financial is capped. But with a business, you can unlock as much of those three as you want.
This is another one where it's like you might be like the CEO of a top FTSE 100 company. You might earn, I don't know, $1 million a year, but you're probably working 8 hours a week. You're stressed to death. You've got all this money, but then you've got no opportunity and time to spend it. Like, so it's like you can be cash rich, but you're still not free.
Time poor.
Exactly.
And
it's just like I think that's where I'd much rather be on like take take 250k, 300k home a year, as opposed to being on 1 million but chained to my desk and have no life.
That's the thing. It's like, if I don't want to get up today, I don't need to get up. Don't get me wrong, I do 10-hour days because I love it. But if I decide I don't want to tomorrow, I don't need to be anywhere. And there's still money.
And that's
coming
it.
in.
Exactly that. And that's what I love. Where it's like, I got a message before saying like, oh, do you fancy coming down to London on this date? Like, we've got an event, and it's just like that. Like, there's no second thought. Like, it's just yes. Like, and like, I've had it before where like last year, I got back from Paris. And then it was Paris Fashion Week. Then like a couple of days later, my mate messaged me saying like on Thursday, said flight 4 p.m. tomorrow. Are we going? It's like, yes. Like, it's just like, but that's the freedom that you want, isn't it? And like everyone can have if you work for it.
That's the thing. And like you said before, if you don't have responsibilities and kids and, you don't need to be tied somewhere, like why not try and do something now that you are going to, your future self's going to thank you for.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lot of that brief conversation. There's a lot of value for people to take out.
I hope so, because if you're feeling anything like I was, you know that there's another way, but you just don't know what it is yet. Yeah.
So with sort of like your future, so you've got Jet Set. Do you think that's always going to be your main business, your baby, or do you think there's anything? Because I know you're doing a couple of other things on the side.
Yeah.
Are you planning to? So we'll talk about them, but do you think they'll ever take front seat?
No, I just think it's important to have multiple streams of income, especially as a business owner. And like we said before, the conversations that you have can turn into full scale businesses when you're not tied to a desk and there isn't a glass ceiling. So while it started off as travel, it's evolved into coaching. My background's property, so I still dabble in that. And I think travel will always be my bread and butter. Coaching, again, bread and butter, but there's definitely other things that I do look at and will explore.
Where do you feel like you've sort of learned about like the importance of having several incomes and stuff like that? Because you come across as like very well versed in like business and like being an entrepreneur. Like, if you like worked in the corporate life, where do you think you found that?
Reading mindset books, and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I've read that.
I read it, and The Compound Effect is all by Darren Hardy. I read these two books. I was like, so simple, and I know this, but I'm not applying it.
Yeah.
And we think that it's too good to be true. Again, it goes back to that employee mindset. But you read these things and you think, actually, there's something in this. And if you start to apply it, then you start to see the fruits of labour.
One of the biggest things I took away from Rich Dad Poor Dad was where, like, he says you should never say I can't afford it.
Yes.
It's how do I afford it? And just because if you say I can't afford it, your mind immediately switches off and you can just let it go and you don't have to think about it. But it says how. You get the cogs like moving in your head and you start thinking, and then you start to be able to like monetize those ideas and like that little shift in mindset is ridiculous what it can do for you.
That's the thing though, and I think because most people stop learning at 18 and that's it, that we think we've learned everything. I've never used algebra in my life. I don't need it. I couldn't do an equation if you asked me to. But after that, people stop, and I started to read and listen to podcasts and invest in learning new skills and understanding income and residual and how could I get out of where I was stuck in. But that book for me definitely changed it, because I had the poor dad mindset at that point. And the little shifts, like you've just said, to switch it into Rich Dad are the things that have changed my life and made me understand multiple streams of income.
It's definitely something like that. Like, it's, you can even like I listen to it as an audiobook. Like, there's no excuse to not pay attention.
If you can't be bothered reading.
Yeah, you can literally like go out on a walk, put it in, sit at your desk and put it in while you're doing other stuff. As long as you're consuming knowledge, it's only going to benefit you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of other ventures as well, which I want you to share, because to me they're super interesting, and it comes across like you've not got much experience in that background, and it's sort of like something I can relate to, where once you've already done a business, you're willing to jump into a lot of different things, and you've already pulled the trigger on one, so that sort of hesitance is gone. So let's dive into what you've done.
So I think when you've said limited knowledge, absolutely. And again, if we use more quotes, but Richard Branson says, if you get offered an opportunity and you don't know how to do it, just say yes and work it out later. And business is that. And I didn't know what I was doing, at the start of this, but it's sink or swim in business. And if you throw yourself into the deep end, you're going to have to work out how to do it. So the other thing that I am dabbling in now is care homes and children specifically care homes. And that came about, again, by a conversation. Yeah. I've turned a conversation into a full-scale business. With a friend that is in the care industry, and he was talking about how they're crying out for houses, basically. Yeah. My background is property. So there's a little bit of knowledge of property, and I've got a little bit of a portfolio that's building. So we started to have a chat about how we could turn this into a business model. How could we assist with the demand for it? And I bought a house in lockdown that's 6 bedrooms. And I put it through planning myself. I still remember how to do various things from my past life. And that will be opening in January. So my knowledge of children's care homes is next to none. But I've just thrown myself in the deep end and learnt what I needed to know. But the other thing is employ people that know more about things than you do. I'm not an expert accountant. I'm not an expert solicitor. And that's why you need to get advice from people that know what they're talking about. So we've got a full-blown team underneath us that run this, that manage it, that know what they're doing. And we've just facilitated it. So I'm learning more each day. But a complete blind spot for me. I've never done anything. But there's people out there that you can employ to assist with these things.
Yeah, and then you learn as you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going on to your second one as well, aren't you?
So I've got another house as well that's been rented out to a private tenant that is going to be turned into assisted living. So we've got another company set up for that encompasses both of those properties. And, I want to get 5 in the next 3 years, maybe.
Nice. So where did you has all of your, let's say, funding for buying these houses, has this come from Jet Set and what you've done through that, or is it from savings from when you started? How have you made?
Leveraging existing properties to take equity out and reinvest has been what I've done. Yes, there's funding from Jet Set and what I earned from that, but I started off with one house, which was I bought off my nana and granddad when I was younger, and that was worth about 70 grand, probably about 8 years ago. It's worth 180 now. So there's just free money in that, and I've leveraged that to take some money out of that to put into another house to refinance and get a mortgage on that, and then kind of gone again. And property's cyclical. We're just about to go into a recession. It's a great time to be buying property and capitalising on the the equity growth that will inevitably happen. It happened in 2008. It's going to happen again. And if you're in a position to do it now,
that's why I'm sitting on cash. I'm waiting. So it's that's what we had. So we had. So again, with our mutual connection, introduced us to. Have you met Rob and Phil?
Yes, I have.
We were
they were there
the
when we met.
So they were talking about this at the moment, and sort of where yes, property prices might be quite high now, but at the end of the day, if it crashes over the long term, you're still going to be fine. And that's for me the next thing that I definitely want to get into. I need to start with property because I've been holding off for it. But when you talk about figures like that,
it's wild. It's honestly, it's so safe to have your money in it.
Keep, like you said, just refinancing, and then you're just pulling out that money, aren't you, and then putting it into another one.
Putting into another one as your deposit, getting another, mortgage on that one, and going again with it. And
so are you allowed? Well, can you share what the value of your property portfolio is?
This is a good question. I reckon a couple of million now. We've just bought a villa. If me and my partner, so we've just bought a villa in Ibiza. That was it must be 3 to 5 million, I reckon.
What, just the villa?
The villa that we've just bought, it was 1.5 in euros. Nice. We bought the villa. This is a funny story. We bought it off market from a really nice old Spanish couple, and they were going to put it on the market the day after, and we said, look, we really want it. They said, are you going to live in it? We said, yeah. They said, we don't want to sell it to a developer that's going to knock it down. So we said, we're not knocking it down. We're going to revamp it. It looks quite old-fashioned. So they said, we put an offer in. They said, right, we'll sell it to you. Anyway, long story short, our value has gone out, and they said, how much have you paid for this? And we said, just under 1.5. They valued it at 210. So again, we've just made this fictional equity of 600 grand that's sat in that property.
Magical, paper money.
Yeah, exactly.
Computer money. That's
somewhere.
It's actually ridiculous, isn't it? What you can do, and that's what Phil and Rob were doing. Where they were saying they just buy below market value deals, and then so they put 30k into a house. the same day they've bought it and like they get the keys, they refinance it and pull the 30k back out. So it's just money spinning.
It doesn't exist physically, but it's in your property and you can take it out and put it somewhere else. And that's the thing again that people don't realise or look into. Yeah. You probably sat on some money in your house that you could do something else with. Yeah. If your money's sat in the bank, it's making you no money.
Exactly.
If it's sat in a property, it's making you some somewhere.
So with so it's gone from 70. So are we saying that it's gone from like 70,000 up to a few million, like over the course of you building your business?
So yeah, if we me and my partner, my other half, have got a couple between us. So if we combined them, I started off with a 70 grand house that turned into a just naturally 180 grand house. I took some money out of that and put it into another house. I took money out of that and put that into another house. And combined now it's I reckon it's over probably about 3.5, maybe a little bit more.
Million. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like, but it's so good to see as well. Like, I love seeing people do well.
Yeah.
Because I bet you never thought that you'd get it to that point either, did you? Like,
do you know what? I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just doing at the time. And sometimes I'd forget. And when you've just asked me, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Like, it sounds mental.
Like, you come up for air and you realise, fuck. Like,
I was adding it up and I was like, oh my God. Because you don't at the time, you're just thinking about it and I'm just doing it and thinking about it. But it's stacked up into wild amounts apparently.
So why did you so Ibiza is your favourite place? Like,
love it, absolutely love it. And I don't need to be anywhere, I can just work from wherever. So we were there I've been about 5 times this year. We were there in June and we were just driving back from a beach club. I was like, should we buy a villa? And then it sounded at the time again like it's not going to happen, but we've just completed on it in October. So we found something. We were on Rightmove coming back from a beach club, quite wasted, trying to find a villa. We found something and wanted to go and look at it. It had gone, and then this one just came up out of nowhere, and it was perfect. And we'd put an offer in on it, on the day, and then trying to navigate Spanish mortgage systems.
Was it messy, that?
Just wild. They don't do anything on the same day as well. It's called Mañana land, Spain, isn't it? They just, everything will be done tomorrow. So
slow time.
It takes a while, and they've got completely different laws. But to be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So out of all the places you travel to at the moment, like, let's get like a bit of an insight into your life. What are you? Because I know when we first spoke, you were off to Dubai a few times and stuff like that. So what is your lifestyle looking like? And as well, because I think it's important for people that like watching and like that will aspire to be in your position. Like, what can they expect?
So do you know what? This year has been absolutely mental. I've been away 27 times. I'm back in the UK now, and this has been 3 weeks has been the longest period that I've spent here, and I've enjoyed it so much. And it looks glamorous, but like 9 times out of 10 I'm jet lagged, hungover, and living out of a suitcase somewhere. So I've been to some amazing places, but also there's been far too many in quick succession this year. So I want to slow it down a little bit next year.
So why? What's the need for 27 trips?
So,
where is this coming from?
Now, I mentioned before I travel free sometimes, but I get invited to go and look at a lot of different hotels and stay and experience, the hotel, so that I send my client there. There's a lot of networking events as well that we go to that are invite only as luxury travel agents, where you go and meet the hotels. And it's so important for me to have that connection at the hotel, so that if we do send one of these clients, I can ring somebody on WhatsApp and say, they need this now. It's not a case of, but we've booked it on booking.com and there's no person at the end of it. We've got a relationship. So there's been various networking shows this year. I'm just about to go to Cannes when is that? Next week for the last one of the year, which is amazing. All of the hotels put on like networking events. Bulgaria doing one on a yacht. So I'm excited for that one. That's the most exciting one. There's been a lot of them this year, but because of COVID was just a little bit of a mess. So
there's been a backlog
of events and trips.
So out of like all those, has any of them been like, is there a split between leisure and work, or are they pretty much all work?
The leisure and work for me is one thing.
Okay.
Because I'm in hospitality, when we go to a place, they've ply us with drink and food and want us to stay in a nice room. So that is work for me, which doesn't sound
like you're living the dream, to be honest with you.
It doesn't sound like work, but the one and the same for me. And again, going back to when I was thinking, like, what do I want to do? The only thing I actually want to do is travel. So to combine that into what my actual job is ideal for me.
Where's your favourite place, Ibiza? Or is it?
I love Ibiza. My favourite place I've ever been to, weirdly, is Shanghai in China. Because it was just so different to anything that I've ever done or been. Yeah.
That's actually, like, I didn't expect that at all.
That's why I like it. I like it when something's just completely like off the wall.
Is it like cultural shock?
Yeah, it's so weird but great at the same time. The food was amazing.
How long
was I there for? 10 days. Everything, this will sound stupid, but there's nothing in English, so you have to have a translator app. Just getting myself around and trying to work out, where things were was an experience in itself, but so eye-opening. It goes from like rich wealth, like Rolex, Hublot, like shops, to a man cooking noodles on the back of his bike on the next street for £1. And it's like, the contrast for me was just eye-opening. It was really nice to
there's just every single category of wealth is encompassed there.
Yes.
That's crazy as well. So this is actually, like, I don't know if we'll include this bit, but I'm super interested.
Go on.
So do you do like villas, like what would normally be Airbnbs and stuff like that? Stuff that's like, let's say, on off market, like you wouldn't find somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you have like a client base for like maybe each location of like portfolio of properties that people wouldn't normally find online?
It's funny that you've just asked me this. I've got I have access to a system that's B2B, so it's only for people in the industry. You couldn't log into it and find something, but it's loaded all luxury high-end villas onto that, pretty much live availability, as live as it can be. So I can see what's available in Ibiza, Mallorca, Spain, like different locations, and we're loading new properties onto that all of the time. So we've got access to different systems that give us different things. There's other people that we work with, suppliers that just specialise in, private islands, for example. We had a private island inquiry.
Did you?
We don't know who it was for. It came through a family office client who deals with like massive
family office stinks of money, doesn't
just
it?
absolutely weeks of cash. So I'm like, who is it for? The issue that we had with this, and this is an issue that we have quite frequently actually, the person that owns the island is so rich they don't need the person that wants to rent it to to cash. So they're asking, who is this person that wants to rent my private island? And the person that wants to rent it is so rich and important they don't want to tell them who they are. So you get a stalemate between these two uber wealthy people in not wanting to give up information. So that was exactly what happened with that. But
did not pull off?
No, but we think that we were told that they were like A-list from USA.
And that
I don't know who they are.
That came
through.
How did that come through?
Came through a company that we work with in London, that a family office management company. It's come through one of their agents. They rang and said, "Do you know any private islands?" There's agents that just deal with private islands. Like, it's different categories too. They're not on Booking.com.
How would you go from primary school to high school to being an agent that manages private islands? Like, where's that pathway come from?
I literally do not know. How do I even deal in private islands? Like, again, when you said before, something I never thought I'd have a conversation about, like, have you got a private island that we can rent? It's wild.
Where do you even, how do you even build up? Is this all just through this software that you find this?
So these are separate. When I go to these networking events, we'll meet somebody that just specialises in private islands, and they're like, if you've got any private island clients, and I'm like, private island clients, and then lo and behold, one comes along, and I'm like, oh my god, I actually have got private island clients.
That's the thing, and that's what I guess is like really good about this, like for you, but for also anyone who is in your coaching sphere, because you're gonna it's not even just about the money you're gonna earn; it's the people you're gonna meet from it.
Experiences.
Everything. You're every day is gonna be completely different.
But it is. And the other thing as well is, while I specialise in luxury and high end, within my coaching business, I've got somebody that just books UK staycations. She outbooked me last month. on staycations.
So what's that like figure? Like what
she did 90 grand last month
in bookings.
So she's going to earn what, 9 grand, let's say, for ease of figures.
So is it roughly
just for UK staycation? It's anything from 8 to 20, but if I benchmark it in the middle, it could be more. But yeah, you know, there's people that just specialise in Disneyland. There's people that just specialise in cruises. Yeah. You don't have to do what I've done.
So do you, with like your coaching, do you help push people towards a niche, like help them find what they
I did a training last week on niching and the importance of niching. Niche markets for anything make more money. They just do. Why should we book through you? Because I'm a specialist in this.
If you've cornered that market, then it's going to be a gold mine. Instead of like, I guess like if you spread yourself very thin over everything, like people, like you said, they want the specialist, they want the guy for that.
What can I give you that you can't get online? And it's that knowledge of that market. And there's people that do, there's so many different niches, and I went through it. You could just do honeymoons, you could just do, you know, stag and hen do's, you could just do UK staycations, you could just do cruises. It's not even like
just destination, it's actually the event type as well.
You could just do retreats. Retreats are going to be massive.
That's insane.
There's so many different things.
And so if we run through like some of your coaching side now and how that works, and so do you want to give us like, I know we touched on it a bit earlier, but a brief overview of what it looks like for one of your customers signing up, and walk them through that experience, and then how they're going to make money.
So basically, if you, I don't know, found me on Instagram and said, I really want to get into, you know, booking, travel and earning commission back, what's the next steps? We've got a full information website that basically outlines everything from start to finish, frequently asked questions. You can see the software and how easy it is to do a booking. It's the same as booking on booking.com for some of them. Some of them you'd use a package supplier the same way you would do online. If you then say, yes, I want to get set up and running, you actually get access to purpose-built, we call it the Jet Set formula. But step-by-step guide for everything from branding to niching to how to use social media to get clients, you know, so that you can turn it into whatever you want to.
So when people are setting up their own brand and business, or are they associated with Jet Set?
They can be. And again, we've got a full branding document on there of guidelines. Like the lady that I told you about that does staycations is branded separately. And, you know, she's equally as successful in her niche. Or they can brand and be associated with Jet Set, but they're independent to what we do. But they can leverage off what we do and the contacts that we have, and they get the support that, you know, all the things I wish I knew at the beginning that I didn't know. Fast track blueprint to success.
And that's actually like what we do with our Amazon wholesale course, like where the guy who started it, he spent like over a year like making mistakes, losing money, stuff like that. So then you just put all of that information that you learn into one. And then give them the blueprint, and it's like you're saving people time and money. Yeah,
that's the thing. So I didn't have any support with it. It was just me, like I said before. But everything I wish I knew and didn't do in there, step by step, automated modules that you can refer back to if you don't know what you're doing. And also people get access to community as well. Like they're not just on a website. They'll have direct contact with me and the rest of the team as well to help them get whatever they want out of the model, basically.
So how does it work in terms of like what earnings, what can someone realistically look to be doing?
It depends. Again, it's how long is a piece of string? How much are you going to work? Like, you know, if you do 1 hour a day and don't book anything, you're not going to make anything. It's that simple. But if you come into it and think, I'm going to run it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. And it depends what you want from it. Because, again, some people will just use it to travel smarter themselves.
So just take
and to not turn it into a business. Some people will come in and go, I want to make a couple of £100 a month. You know, there's loads of people doing that. Some come in and say, I want to make tens of thousands. Again, there's no cap on it. It's unlimited. It's a business.
Yeah, it's literally the same with us. It's, you get out what
exactly.
You put in, and it's, I think, and that's where like, well, I want to touch on this now. So let's say you're people that like sign up. Do you see, like, obviously we talked about the too good to be true, but do you see any traits in people that do really well that are consistent across them all? Or is it like, what are you looking for in people for them to be successful in your business? Just
a good mindset. The only thing that matters in business, as far as I'm concerned, is a good mindset, because everything else you can learn along the way. Nobody comes in good at booking travel. You know, my only experience was booking.com. But if you've got the right mindset to put the time and effort in, then there's no reason why you can't have success with it. We've got males, we've got females, we've got people at uni, we've got people that are retired. Travel's universal, and, you know, it's not going anywhere. So and it works for anybody that does the work with us.
It just came to my mind then. How did you actually, like, where did Jet Set actually come from? I don't think we actually covered that, because I know you said like you left. Where did the idea, like where did it actually start?
So I found a model online. I found the 2 software systems that would allow me to create Jet Set, and I encompassed them both into my brand. So I just, I said before, it's £156 to buy the software, and you pay a subscription. I paid the same £156 that everybody else pays. You're using the same software that I'm using, but I just built it
into. And now you're just, so basically you've done exactly the same as everyone else, but because you've got that experience, you're then just teaching people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then the proof's in the pudding with yourself.
This is the thing. People say it's too good to be true. It's social proof. I know what we book every month. You can't argue with facts and figures. So, but when I started, there was no social proof. There was no facts and figures.
So you've had that battle.
And it became a, it sounds too good to be true thing. But now it's like, well, look at that, what we booked last month. Look at this, what somebody's earned. Look at that saving that somebody's made. So you can't argue with it now. But it is getting the word out. When you said, why have I not heard of it? We need to get the word out about it so that people can actually see the social proof.
It's surprising that even I'm gonna do it just on for the personal bookings.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd rather not. I've just booked for Paris for New Year. Like I should have.
Oh no! Schoolboy error.
We talked about this. Like where I think I was going to London after the first time we spoke. I was like, right, I need to do this, and then like not done it, and then I've literally just come in bed. Then I was like, oh fuck, I just booked Paris.
That's the thing. Even if you're just using it for UK stuff as well, it's like you're paying somebody money for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get on them servings. Not into it. Paying like no. But yeah, so I think for us, and like, do you see this? Like for us, something that's really important with our members is just the art of being consistent. Consistency for us is key, because like they won't, like, you can have like a really good week, you can have a bad week, but it's those that stay the long term and the consistent week in, week out that actually see the really good results, will make really good money. And it's like we get some people that will do really good and they'll make like £1,000 in a week, but then the next week they'll make 50 quid and then they'll be like, right, I'm cancelling, I'm done now. Yeah. And it's just like, what?
That's the bad mindset thing. Yeah. It's like you've not got the mindset to stick it out. And that's why, if somebody comes in with a good mindset or a willingness to work on the mindset, they'll
it's like that
see
hunger,
it out.
Isn't it?
People, I read something as well the other day, but most traditional businesses can take 2 to 5 years to get into profit.
Yeah.
And we're giving you a model here that's profitable now,
straight away,
and you're cancelling after a week because you've not made £1 million. Like, what? Come on, wake up, please.
And that's it. Like that's what I want to get out to everyone. Like it is. It's just like
it's the same.
With like for us, like with Amazon, like it's like you're starting a business and you're making money from day one. Yeah. Like
find me somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. Like you go into another business where, like, and it's a proven model. Like with yours, that like if you do it, it's going to work. Yeah. You can't really fuck up.
No, you can't.
So like just stick to it. But like but people will maybe entertain a business that they've wanted to do because maybe it's like something that they're passionate about, but it actually makes no financial sense to do. And then they might then fail in that and then apply what they've learned from that negative experience to everything else. Yeah. Like, and
it boils back down to mindset though. It's like you can't differentiate that one thing that didn't work. So now you're just saying everything doesn't work. Like it's a bad mindset, isn't it? Yeah. But consistency, same with you. We see it all the time. People say, I'm not getting the results. And I'm like, you've not posted anything. How do clients know that you exist? Like you're not telling anybody about what you're doing. And it is just that small, again, compound effect. Small daily consistent actions every single day that add up to the big result. But people think you can work it full-time, part-time, but you can't do it sometimes. It's just that simple. Yeah.
And it's literally, it's just snowball effect. Yeah. If you keep showing up every day, doing what you're supposed to do, ticking the boxes in the long run, over the bigger picture, like you're gonna be successful. Definitely. And that successful is, I wouldn't say like, it's by whatever you consider successful yourself, like whether you want to do this to get to a point where you just earn an extra £1,000 a month, if you can do that, or if you want to take it to 10,000, like there's no like strict definition of successful. Everyone's going to be different, aren't they? But with these sort of models, they can put in as much time and effort they want to reach their definition of successful.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like some people look and go like, oh, it's all about money. Like the money's come for me after I've followed something that I actually gave a shit about. It's snowballed from that.
And that's what you can see as well. Like it's clear with you, like you're actually like truly passionate about travel.
I love it. Who isn't though? I don't know anybody that's like, disgusting, don't take me on holiday. Like nobody says that.
Everybody wants like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people envious right now, but use it as motivation because it's
exactly.
The options there, like to live that sort of lifestyle. As well. So correct me if I'm wrong. Have you been on? Is it Forbes?
I have, yes. We did a little Forbes feature.
So what was that?
So we, again, just trying to get the word out there, but we got a press company that we work with reached out and said, like, we're doing a top 10 females to follow as the year unfolds. Yeah. Do you want to do it? And I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
But again, this is so weird. I could show you the text message, but we did British Vogue when I first set up, and British Vogue contacted me. And I was like, this must be a blag, like surely, and I'm reading the email address and it's coming from British Vogue and I'm like, maybe it's real.
Yeah.
Do you want to feature in British Vogue? Your brand aligns with British Vogue. I was like, my brand? It's just me, like what are they on about? And we did it, and after that I wrote down, and I'm a master manifester.
Yep.
I write things and they happen, and it's become a joke now that whatever I write will come true, so I don't write anything that I don't want to happen down. And I wrote Forbes next, and I've screenshotted this message. And within 8 months, we had the opportunity to go in Forbes and speak about what I've done as a brand and who I am as a person and how the models work. And that just came completely out of the blue again. But
and that's it. Like you don't when you're like a business owner and you put yourself out there, like opportunities will come to you that you just never envisioned.
But you don't put yourself out there when you're not a business owner is the issue. And like we said before, it's just one conversation with one person. It opens millions of doors for anything really.
Yeah. And that's like the perfect like social proof for you as well. Like with Forbes, like it's so reputable. Like it's just like they wouldn't even entertain.
It looks good on the signature.
The thing is, it's like they wouldn't entertain you if it was like any sort of anything dodgy
untoward,
or whatever. Yeah.
That's the thing as well, and like we can now leverage off this social proof, but at the beginning there wasn't any. It was just me trying to.
So it's just been you. Essentially, you just had to get your head down and just work through it and build up to where you have today, and then you reap the rewards.
Exactly, and now you can't tell me it doesn't work because I'm sat
here. Yeah. Something that we touch on with a lot of people that we've had on that have all been in the limelight with social media. Have you like had any negatives come from social media being like exposed the way you are, like with a public profile, or has it all been pretty good for you?
Not really, I do see a lot of like trolling and stuff going on, but it's not something that I've faced, which I'm really glad about, to be honest. But if I did come across it, also I don't give a shit because you don't pay my bills. So when you find negative people on social media are probably in a really bad place themselves, and like that's okay if you're there. I feel sorry for you, but it's not something that I've encountered, thankfully. Everybody's like really complimentary, and I got a lot of nice DMs like, you're so inspiring, and it's weird because I don't feel inspiring at all, and I'm like, what, why?
But that must be like a pinch me moment where you're now having a big impact on people that you probably don't even know.
I got a lot of nice messages from people in the industry.
And with like your particular audience, do you hit like a certain demographic, like, or is it anyone and everyone that's come through?
Mostly female, but there's some males that do this as well. But mostly female. All ages really, from everywhere. So we don't discriminate. But I'm probably about 60% female, 40% male, UK and USA audience. Which is where we operate. So you got quite a lot. So I've actually coached 300 people in America.
Nice.
So we're expanding in the USA because our software works there as well, and obviously people travel everywhere.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So how did you decide to sort of make the leap into USA? Because that's like, for me, like that would be like, we've had people say to us before, like, you go into the US, but it feels like a daunting task.
So I tell you why I didn't view it as that, because we use social media to build. It doesn't matter where you are to me. You're just at the touch of a button, so it doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the pond or here. I'm still coaching you the same way I would do.
Did you have to do anything with did you have to like set up US bank accounts, company over there, or is it all
we get paid via a sister company of PayPal, so no. It gets paid into an online wallet, and you can withdraw that then into wherever your located's bank account.
Oh, that's good.
So
that's good. So do you think US is going to be like, do you think you're going to see more growth in there versus the UK?
Definitely. The USA's got states bigger than our country, and not a lot of people know about this model. So again, we're just trying to get the word out over there. But where our software works at the minute is UK, USA, and some of the Caribbean islands. It's just about to launch in Republic of Ireland in January. Nice. It's about to launch in Canada next year as well. So where we can take this is global. That's where we want to take it. But it's piecemeal because of different travel regulations. But those are the next two on the list.
So how did you what was your roadmap into the US? Doing your US takeover, what was your plans like? Because obviously you're going to start marketing it to the people in the US.
Yeah.
But how did you start doing that? How did you target those people?
We look for people with a good network.
Is this influencers?
Or somebody like me. I'm not an influencer, but somebody like me that can network and that can share this, with the people that it needs to get in front of. So we position people as leaders in areas that we're expanding in, and them helping us expand gets them paid as well. Everybody wins from it. So we have used influencer marketing for UK. They will sign up to our model and promote what we can offer people and bring people in that way so that they're getting the benefit from it. We've done the exact same thing in America.
So are they promoting people to book through them for holidays, or are they just promoting
the referral
coaching
scheme? So they're referring other people to come in to, one, either earn money back on the travel that they're doing, two, either bring in a side income, or three, go completely full-time with it if they want to, and they get access to the coaching for any of those three things just by coming into the business.
Nice. And so have you, with your marketing right now, because I'm interested, I'm sure a lot of people will be, that sort of run small businesses, what have you found more successful? Is it sort of influencer, or because we mentioned paid ads before? What route are you taking now?
Ads for me on Instagram, we've only just started running, and they're not working for me. We're starting to look at funnels now, which is something that I want to teach myself how to build, but need to find the time to do. So I think that's the way it's going for us. I know TikTok is something that I need to start using.
Power of TikTok, yes.
I need to start using more. I've had a little bash on it, but you've just said it before, I'm not consistent enough.
I was just going to say, TikTok is a horrible platform in the sense that we get so frustrated because we had a run of terrible views on content that we thought would be really good. Then we did 400k, 1 million, 800k, and then really good, pretty much consecutive. And then again, now we're at 1,000 views. It's just what is going on?
It's so difficult to get it.
Yeah, over the long term, if you're consistent, you still in the bigger picture, it'll smoothen out, and you're growing. You're still going to be acquiring new customers. It's just riding the waves of it, I guess.
I think my issue I'm consistent on Instagram because it's familiar to me, but because TikTok's been, not that it's difficult, it's just been a little bit of a learning curve. It's a different platform, it's a different algorithm. I've just not invested the time into it, but I need to. So that's definitely the route that I'm going to start going down.
Yeah, for sure. So I think to round it up now, I think there's been so much good advice in this, and I think a lot of people are going to be interested in exploring more about what you do. So we will get all links to Jet Set and your profile sort of in the bio. But right, we'll round it off with a piece of advice that you think you'd give to anyone who was sort of on the cusp. Let's say they're in the 9 to 5, they're not happy. What advice are you giving to them?
Get out of your own way. There's only you that's stopping yourself from doing something different. And it is just, I was in it for a while and I tried to do various other things, but you can change where you are at any moment. I know it sounds bad saying it. Some of us have got different opportunities and have had different opportunities, but you can learn skills online now. You can invest in yourself. You can invest in your mindset. And if you want to change the space that you're in, stop yourself from, staying where you are and get out of your own way and go and learn that skill or start that business or at least work on your mindset.
And it's I think of that, there's so much free resource out there nowadays, in any field, not even what we're talking about. You can learn pretty much anything on YouTube today.
You could rewire a car after a video if you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And then starting the business, it's just pulling the trigger. It's it's nothing scary.
No.
And then a lot of it, you said, you're going to wing the majority of it.
All of it at the beginning.
And then before you realise it, you're going to be sat there oh my God, I've got a little empire going on here. And that's what people you don't have to know it all, do you? You
don't know any of it at the beginning. It's just actually taking the leap to doing something different. And if you stay in your comfort zone and, where you think it's safe, you're staying in a place that you're never going to grow from. And it's just getting yourself out of that. And no one knows what they're doing. None of us have got a clue.
Exactly.
But we work it out on the spot on the day and it, it goes from there. And the worst thing that's going to happen in my mind is you're going to stay in the exact same place for the next 40 years. Exactly. The best thing that could happen is you completely change your life and do something that you want to do.
And it's only going to happen if you take action.
Yeah, but if most people won't get out of their own way, so just do it. See what happens. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, the worst, you can end up with a £5 million property portfolio and do 27 holidays a year. What a good way to round it out, guys. Right, thanks for coming on, Leah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.